Hey guys, so I'm a few videos into this channel now and I still haven't done the famous BookTube Newbie tag. I haven't even taken the time to introduce myself. So I thought on a Sunday, it's nice and overcast, I'm in between a few books, it'd be the perfect time to say hi to you all and do the tag for a bit of fun. So, hello, my name's Christian and this is Lost in Discovery. This is my new channel. Let's jump straight into the BookTube Newbie tag and let's see what we find out about me. So the first question in the tag is, why did you start this channel? Like most of you guys who are on BookTube and in this community, you have found a giant community on the internet to discuss books with, but it's a bit more of a niche topic in your everyday life. So only a few of my friends are kind of into reading and I had a few of them to talk to, but I basically just wanted more people to talk to. So that's how I kind of found myself here, and it made sense to me because one of my passions and interests is making videos and photography. So I thought I could bring that into this and talk about books at the same time. So it made perfect sense to jump on and start discussing everything with you guys. I just wanted to join the discussion online and add my perspective to some of these really amazing books that have been coming out lately. Question number 2 is, what are some fun and unique things you can bring to BookTube? Like I was saying before, I've got a lot of experience in photography and video making. I feel like that's a natural combination with making YouTube videos and making things creative and exciting. Generally, I find that on BookTube less is more. It's more about what the person has to offer for their discussion, but at least I'll have good lighting and a nice quality video. I would like to get more creative with it if the videos call for it, but I find, like I said, less is more. It's more about the discussion and the discourse, having a good chat with you guys about what we love and what we might not like so much about books. Question number 3 is, what are you most excited for starting this new channel? I really just can't wait to see where we go with it. I have left it open enough that I'm not tied into just talking about books. I'd like to talk about all the things I'm interested in sort of pop culture. So we're talking about books and fantasy in general, shows and things like that. I just want to see how it grows. I'd like to see how I can push my creativity and challenge myself to talk about things in ways that others haven't. I'm just excited for a new creative outlet and a way to express myself and to meet all of you guys and have a good chat about a common interest. That's probably going to be the most exciting part, talking to all of you guys and have you guys follow along for the journey. I'm sure we're going to go through lots and lots of different topics and lots of cool videos as time goes on. The next question is, why do you love reading? A multitude of reasons, really. That's a very broad question and we could sit here for a long time talking about that. The thing was, I kind of lost my love of reading for a good while there. I was a big reader as a child and I'm not too sure what happened, but it just kind of slipped away from me. Probably video games happened. That kind of happened, and I would play games that were very story driven and I would get my kind of fix that way, and through dramas and TV shows I would get it, but it wasn't for a long time until I got back into reading, and that was around 2017. In that year I had moved to London, and if any of you guys have had a similar experience, moving out of home or moving to a new country altogether is extremely daunting. I found myself quite lonely and quite lost and in a bit of a dark place. What I did find was The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson, the first book of the Stormlight Archive. I got totally lost in that world. I really felt the struggle of some of the characters and their depression and their kind of crawling out of a very tough situation. That kind of sums up what drew me to fall back in love with reading. It was just getting lost in another world and getting strength into my real life from a fictional character or a fictional story. It kind of took me back to why I found reading so amazing in the first place, getting transported to somewhere else, but also taking back lessons, ideas and inspiration into your real life. Yeah, that's probably one reason why I love reading, but there are many more. That's just as best as I can probably summarize it for a very chill BookTube Newbie tag video. Question 5. What series got you into reading in the first place? Well, once again, like most of you probably had the same experience, but it was the Harry Potter series by J.K. Rowling. This is probably my earliest memory of getting completely sucked into reading as a medium. Just before the Philosopher's Stone, or the Sorcerer's Stone for my American viewers, was coming out, My mum would read the story to me and my sister before bed every night, one or two chapters at a time, and I fell in love with Harry Potter. If you're like me, born in like the mid-90s, it was like the perfect time to get into reading because you would read the new Harry Potter book, and then later that year or the next year you would get the movie, and it was such a cultural phenomenon and such a great experience to be a part of, let alone the story itself. But that Harry Potter craze and my mum reading it to me as a child just is what kickstarted my love of reading. What question would you ask your favourite booktubers? I first discovered BookTube with Daniel Green, and you guys will definitely all know Daniel. He's probably the biggest male booktuber that I know of, and I was following him around when he had 10,000 subscribers or so, and I was just looking for... I don't exactly remember how I found him. Perhaps it was Stormlight content, but regardless, I found him. Him and Murphy Napier are my favourite booktubers. That's probably like, I don't know how to word it. I know they're like two of the most popular, but I really do love their content, so I don't know what to say there. But anyway, what questions would I ask them? To be honest, all the book related questions regarding them are probably answered with their videos. So I'll just ask, hey, do you want to grab lunch and hang out? Let's just chill. Because, you know, I know their favourite books, I know what they're reading at the moment, I know why they love reading, like, we know all that kind of stuff. I'll just say, hey, do you want to hang out? Let's go grab something to eat. And if I was feeling especially bold, I'd probably ask, hey, do you want to collab on a video about Rhythm of War? That would be cool, wouldn't it? So our 7th question is, what challenges do you think starting a BookTube channel will be the hardest to overcome? The most obvious challenge is reading enough books to keep up to date and create regular content. When I started the channel, basically every book I made a video on, I had previously finished, besides Mockingjay and Warbreaker, which I was about halfway through for each. So right now I'm finding myself in a situation where I have no books that I've currently read, and I'm thinking, wow, what content am I going to make? And because I'm quite new and getting back into this, I don't have a wealth of knowledge about current books and other series. So the challenge is going to be getting myself kind of up to date with the climate of fantasy and fiction books in general, and just reading enough to produce enough content to keep the channel relevant and going. But I'm sure I'll have no problems once I get in a good rhythm. Question 8 is, when did I start reading? Well, I kind of answered this before, but I started reading when I was very, very young with the Harry Potter series and various books growing up in school. Number 9 is, where do I read? I read basically anywhere that I can be sat down. I try to avoid reading in bed because that's a quick way to get me to fall asleep. I try to read just sitting down somewhere. My favourite at the moment is just sitting outside in the sunshine and reading outside. I find that probably my favourite place to read. Reading outside somewhere. Always good. I remember back in uni reading Game of Thrones. Going on the train to university, I was carrying these like gigantic books on the train. I don't know how I did that all the time. For some reason I've got this thing about I don't want a Kindle. I'm not too crazy about audiobooks. So, and especially with the genre I'm into being epic fantasy, I find myself lugging these gigantic books around. I read less on the go these days, but I used to be reading on the trains all the time. I don't know how I managed it. And number 10, what kind of books do you like to read? Well, it's quite evident in my channel what kind of books I like to read, but obviously my favourite genre is fantasy. I'm kind of obsessed. If the Cosmere was a genre within itself, that would be what my answer should be. But overall, mainly fantasy dramas, high fantasy. Although I would love to explore different genres of fiction because I'm so new to it and I'm still discovering what I like. But I don't know what it is, I've just always had a love for fantasy throughout my entire life, so I feel like it's probably going to be sticking to fantasy as I continue with this channel. So that was the BookTube Newbie tag. Hopefully you got to know me a little bit more. I hope that video wasn't too boring for you. I thought it would just be a nice introduction to say hello to you guys and welcome to this channel, Lost in Discovery. I can't wait to see where we go with it. I can't wait for more of you guys to jump on board. Please do say hi in the comments. I would love to build a little community here, and I'd love to get discussions about what you'd like to see more of, and if you'd like to talk more about any of the books I've been talking about lately, please do hit me up. I'm always keen to meet new people, and I'm always keen to have a chat about this genre we love so much.